This is ITV.
Certainly the best.
ITV, certainly the best.
The struggle to ensure an inclusive and accessible society for persons with disability, not just in Edo State, but in Nigeria at large, has not ended as far as Network for the Advancement of People with Visible Disability, NAVID, is concerned. If you've been following this program for the longest, you realize that NAVID as an organization has been at the forefront of canvassing for a law that will protect the rights of persons with disability in Edo State. And NAVID is not satisfied now that Edo State has the law. NAVID has also ensured that they are partnering with the Edo State Disability Commission to ensure the effective implementation of the letter and spirit of the Edo State Disability Law. Joining me to talk on this, what NAVID is doing as far as partnering with the Edo State Disability Commission is concerned, is the ego himself, the face of disability advocacy, not just in Edo State, but in Nigeria at large. He needs no introduction, but I'll try and introduce him. Melody Omosa, Esquire, Executive Director, NAVID. Welcome to today's edition of Hitches and Voices.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kingsley, and I'm glad to be here again in the set with you today.
All right, and our sign language interpreter for today is Goodluck Omusi. You know how we do it on this program. We practice what we preach, inclusion, and so we like to carry our deaf community as long as well. It's another very wonderful Friday afternoon to talk disability advocacy with you. I usually enjoy it because of your insight. We were on this program talking about the passage of the Edo State Disability Law that has been done, but NAVID seemed not to be satisfied. You embark on a project to assist the Edo State Disability Commission to come up with several frameworks, several documents to strengthen the implementation of the law. Can you give us an overview of what this project has been about?
All right, thank you very much, and I'm happy again, as I said, to be with you today doing this. You are right when you said it's been the push of NAVID to have a law that will protect the rights of persons with disabilities and ensure that they have a place in society as their counterparts without disabilities. Reason being that we do not want issue of persons with disabilities to be handled as a matter of charity or benevolence of any one individual. And of course, you know that in society, it is often opined that there is a social contract between the government and the people. Persons with disabilities are not ordinarily in that equation in the absence of a law that provides for and protects their rights. And so over time, we're on that issue, and we're glad that about 4 years ago now, a law came on stream in Edo State. And that law provides for a commission that will drive the implementation of the law. And even though the law was passed by the House of Assembly and assented to by the governor of Edo State, the commission that should drive the implementation was not immediately inaugurated. And so that became another advocacy pursuit for another 3 years before we saw a commission come on stream nearly a year ago. We are not done. It is not, the commission is not meant to be symbolic. Having a law and creating a commission, it was not just about crossing the T's and dotting the I's. It is about ensuring that the commission substantially enforces and implements the disability law as provided for. And we engaged the commission and discovered very quickly that there was the need to partner with the commission to strengthen the delivery capacity, as it were, of the commission to engage society and government. Even though it's an agency of government, it is meant to be, in its activity, to be regulatory and supervisory of the ministry, departments, and agencies of government in delivering, permit me to use disability and dividends for persons with disability as provided for in the law. So that commission is strengthened and has the capacity to do just what the law provides for. Brought about a project that is called capacity building for justice sector provider in handling vulnerable group. That project was very hugely supported by the rule of law and anti-corruption program in Edo State. And between December and January 2025-2026, we worked on several projects, have workshops, have several activities to engage the commission and ensure that it is well positioned now to take on the task that the law has empowered it to so do.
Fantastic. Let's go through some of the activities during the course of this project. I know you carried out several activities, culminating to what happened yesterday, which was the accessibility of the Edo State Civil Service research. Can you let us in on that?
All right. The first activity we did under the project, the capacity building for justice sector providers in handling vulnerable group. The commission is a justice, as it were, a sector provider, because the disability law is a disability right. It's about the right of persons with disability and ensuring that access to justice is democratized and making sure that persons with disability are able to access what the law provides for. One of the activities we carried out first was to develop with the commission, participating actively, a operational guide, operational manual, where standard operational protocols for the commission in-house work was developed. It was a 2-day workshop that I had between 9th and 10th of December 2025. At the end of the day, with the input of an expert who guided us through, a consultant expert who guided us through the process, participation of stakeholders, especially members of the commission and duty bearers, that operational manual was developed, and it's going to guide the commission in their day-to-day activity and running of the commission. We all then moved on this year on the 20th and to /22nd of January to develop a 3-year strategic plan for the commission. It's that you want to do something, but you must have a plan. Otherwise, wishes will be horses. And you know that if, like they say, if wishes were horses, beggars will ride. But we do not just want the commission to say, oh, we want to do. What exactly do you want to do? How do you want to go about what you want to do? Looking in the next 3 years, what are your plans? What are your strategies? Again, we sat together, and for 3 days, we worked
with the commission.
With the commission members, the chairman, the other members of the commission, the ex-official members from the different line ministries of government, and staff of the commission, the consultant, members of NAVID, and other civil society
So everybody within the echo chain of the disability advocacy in Edo State was carried along in the entire process.
Yes, it was a participatory one. We sat down together and came up with a 3-year strategic plan. So the commission is clear as to what he wants to do between now and 2028. That strategic plan was further broken down into a 2026 work plan, where activities by activities, the commission has lined up what it wants to do between now and the end of the year. So a strategic plan was developed, and a work plan for 2026, the current year, was also developed. And you could see now that there are a lot of activities are beginning to come on stream, and we believe that once all of this is operationalized at the end of the year, persons with disability will be the better for it. And NAVID, as a partner in progress with the commission, would have been able to achieve some of the level of its advocacy. Don't forget that we pretty much occupied the space before the commission came on board. Yes. And now that we have a commission, we are so glad that there is a dedicated agency of government that will take on part of what we have been advocating for over time. So that happened. You mentioned the activity that happened just yesterday, the 19th of December. It was a validation.
No, not December.
19th of February. I mean to say, it was a validation of the research report on the accessibility of the Edo State Civil Service for employees and other persons with disabilities who have reason to visit the space. And again, we partner with the Edo State government in ensuring that this happened. A research, the Office of the Head of Service of the State approved and a research was conducted across 7 MDAs, ministries, departments, and agencies as a pilot to see where we are as with regards to the involvement, participation, and ability to deliver work as an employee with disability in the state. This is a baseline. The Commission actually needs this so that as it advocates for the inclusion of persons with disability in the workspace, he wants to be sure of what is on ground and are there gaps, needed to see if there are gaps and call on those gaps to be closed. So that report was presented by the researcher that carried out that research, and we sat down again and looked at it critically and digested the recommendations and made our input.
But I would like to know, I mean, our viewers will be interested and listeners alike. Can you let us into some of the findings of the report when it comes to how accessible the Edo State Civil Service is or inclusive for persons with disability in the state? Can you let us into that report?
Interestingly, the research found out that there is improvement, and government has taken steps in ensuring that persons with disabilities are provided for in the workplace. For instance, the new State Secretariat building at Saple Road has elevators and ramps provided from design into the buildings, and so that issue of coming up with infrastructure, high-rise building without ramps and without elevator, government has been able to cross that, and by ensuring that it's in its secretariat that has majority of the civil and public servants in the state. There are provisions for that. So the research noted that even in the secretariat building, there are parking lots designed for persons with disabilities. There are places reserved alone for persons with disabilities to park in the secretariat building. The research pretty well identified that, and that in fact in one of the ministries, assistive devices were provided for some of the employees to be able to do their work. But what the research also found out is that whereas there are structural provision for the inclusion of persons with disability in the state civil and public service, there is, however, functional exclusion of persons with disabilities. Structurally, those things are provided for. Functionally, it's a problem. The elevators sometimes are not optimal. They are not working at its utmost best, because there is always the either one or two of the elevators not working. Issue of power outage that can also affect the working of the elevator. It's also there, and so the recommendation is that these things should not just be for decoration at all times. That elevator or lift that government has invested so hugely on to have should function, because there are persons with disability who daily need to make use of this. And for a fact, the report also found out that there are times persons with disabilities, especially those who uses the wheelchair or uses the clutches, are unable to access their office because of the non-functionality of those elevators. Yes.
Fantastic. You've done a research on the Edo State Civil Service. I'll be looking forward to a time where Navid will do a research to see what is happening in the private sector as well. Looking forward to that. But we'll go on a quick break now. We'll come back. Don't forget, our guest is Melody Omosa, Executive Director, NAVID, Network for the Advancement of People with Visible Disability. We'll come back to talk some more. Program is still Hitches and Voices on independent television and radio. I'd like to say a very big thank you to our listeners on radio as well. Don't forget, we are broadcasting simultaneously on television and on independent radio. My guest is the Executive Director, Navid Melody Omosa, telling us about the partnership with the Edo State Disability Commission and all the activities they've done to create an enabling environment for the Commission to take off and implement the Edo State Disability Law. You talked about yesterday's event, which is like the hallmark of the whole project. But I know in the course of the project, you also carried out an activity which is centered around something people don't usually talk about. That is violence against, sexual violence against persons with disability. You organize a training for some critical stakeholders. Can you tell us about that?
All right, thank you. Part of the activity we carried out on building the capacity of justice sector provider was a one-day workshop in strengthening the work of the State Assault Referral Center, otherwise called the SAC Center, the State Assault Referral Center, where victims of sexual and gender-based violence report to. We needed to ensure that there was inclusive practice because unfortunately we've had reports of persons with disabilities becoming victims of violence and from some persons in society, and they needed to know where to go to, and if they go to the center, how inclusive are their practices? Are they able to take in and provide the care needed by these victims, survivors of SGBV, that are persons with disabilities? That became important, and it was an eye-opener even for NAVI that organized that project, and for the SAC staff also. They learned a lot about how persons with disabilities can be well handled. It is important that even data, before now, specific data as to the number of victims with disabilities that are reported was not documented, and we saw the need from that training that there need to be a disaggregated data so that patterns can be studied, and it's now possible to do advocacy that will help nip in the bud such occurrences, how persons with disability can even protect themselves not to fall victim of such. But by and large, that was what the training was about, and we just want to see that in every sphere and every system that have services to deliver to the people of Edo State, there are inclusive practices that persons with disability, when they access those centers, those services, those systems, are also accommodated and treated.
Now, you've carried out these various activities. You've tried your best to see how you can build the capacity of the Edo State Disability Commission. What is your expectation moving forward? What are your hopes in terms of seeing to the proper and effective implementation of the law?
Well, first I must say that the commission members, the chairman, members, and even the staff of the commission are very excited. They've expressed their gratitude not only to NAVID, but to the rule of law and anti-corruption that backed this project, supported by the European Union and the international idea. They are very grateful, and they've promised that, they've not just promised, they've told us that the programs that we carried out indeed is helpful. So my expectation is that in the short term we'll begin to see some of these translate into actionable points for the commission. There is a 2026 work plan. We want to see how they implement that vis-a-vis availability of resources. For the first time, the commission now have a budget for 2026, and of course, given the items and the things the commission hope to achieve in 2026, the government budget alone will not get that done. So the commission will be reaching out to development partners and well-meaning individuals and corporate bodies to assist in carrying out those work plans. It is only when the commission is able to do what they are set up to do that the inclusion of persons with disability in society and them able to contribute adequately to the growth and development of society will be guaranteed. For instance, from the research, we've talking about the accessibility research on the state civils and public service. One of the findings of that research was that employees with disability are contributing very meaningfully to the development of the civil service. We have some of them at senior and managerial level of the service, and this is a research that interviewed permanent secretaries, directors, and also other staff of these different MDAs, and they attested to the fact that persons with disabilities are contributing very well. So what we want to see is a community of persons with disabilities that are very useful to society. But for that to happen, they need to be given the level playing ground. And this is where the commission comes up to ensure that any form of barrier, anything that is capable of hindering people with disabilities for contributing maximally to the growth and development of society is taken away. So that's my expectation, that the commission will be effective, given that they have been so empowered and capacitated by the trainings that have happened to deliver on their mandate.
All right, I want to ask this very quickly. You made mention of duty bearers and statutory members of the Disability Commission. How important are these duty bearers and statutory members? I want you to break it down. Who are these duty bearers? What role are they supposed to play in this entire process? So
the law that sets up the commission, for instance, has provide for a chairman and 3 members representing the 3 geographical zones, Edo Central, South, and Edo North. But also that they need to be representative on the governing council from different MDAs, and the law specifically mentioned 10 ministries and agencies of government that should have a representative on the governing council. What their role is to ensure that governance and disability inclusion happens in their different MDAs. So this is not just about knowing from the persons with disabilities or on the commission, also getting the input of government and those who are not persons with disability, seeing what is going to work, and both government and the persons with disability understanding themselves and meeting at a particular point to enforce inclusion of persons with disabilities. All right, we look forward to such partnership, to such synergy. All is for the betterment of the community of persons with disability in Edo State. We also look forward to this conversation, the continuation of this conversation. I know that NABID is not stopping. There's more to be done. There's more to come. So this is a wrap on the program today, Hitches and Voices. My guest has been Melody Omosa Esquire, Executive Director, NABID. My name is Kingsley Okoje, and I'm saying spot the hitch and be a voice. Goodbye.
This is ITV.
Certainly the best.